You're listening to another Geek Pride podcast. Sit back, relax, and put it in your ears. Coming to some ears near you. In a world so like this one, you couldn't tell the difference. Geeks and fanatics engage in eternal war for the perfect film pitch. Judged by their peers, and against all odds they cry, pitch, please.
Hello and welcome to Pitch Please, the podcast where a couple of geeks battle it out to deliver the best pitch for their chosen theme. This week, our theme pitch is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, up first, I think, fuck it. You know what, I fucked that big time. Should we start again?
No, it's fine. No, roll with it. Roll with it.
Roll with it. Just use your mistakes, man. Use your mistakes. Okay, this week we have joining me Mike Orvis.
Hello.
Hello. And the inimitable Callum Tyndall.
Why do you... This is how he greeted me. This is how he greeted me earlier when I logged in to do this. He just went, proud of yourself, are ya? I went, what have I done? He's like, nothing, I'm just trying to wind you up. I was like, brilliant, well done.
This time the cough was actually coming on as Ben was building up to his introduction. I was like, this isn't going to work out.
You utter bellend.
Hello, Internet.
Okay, so first up, pitching this evening is Mike. Do you want to go ahead?
Indeed, yes. We'll tell the people why that I'm pitching first. It's because my friend is currently making me corned beef hash, so I've got to read through my pitch and then possibly eat while Callum's doing his. Not that I'm overconfident or anything. But yes, okay. So this was a movie, not a story, because I originally started writing like a story, like a comic book, and then I went, no, I'm going to make it into a film to kind of fit in with the theme of everything else.
Did we say that we're doing Turtles, by the way? Did I black out of that bit? Good.
You did black out.
Yes, we are doing.
Stop drinking.
We are doing
the
this. It's quite interesting that you would talk about drinking. Anyway, okay. So this doesn't have a title. At the moment, I haven't thought of a working. It's just Turtles film pitch, but it's an idea that I've been knocking around for a while. So I'm just going to go straight in. And the third act's a lot quicker than the first and second, but you'll kind of get the idea from going. Is that cool? Am I ready to go?
Go for it.
Go man, yeah.
Okay, so we start the film by panning around the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hideout. You know it, you love it. There's pictures of them as family. There's computer screens. You look at Donnie's room. There's like a science lab and stuff. But while you're looking at all these happy memories where you're feeling all nostalgic, there's like a commotion going on. You can hear an argument happening. You hear raised voices. You can't really understand. You're just hearing people argue, and you're like, what the hell is this about? It cuts to a row amongst the middle of the turtles. Basically, where the four guys are coming from, the reason they're all having this massive argument, Raph wants to learn other things. He wants to learn new ways to fight, and he wants to do more good. He wants to go on the surface more. Mikey just wants everyone to get along, so he's just like, dude, come on, let's get along. Donnie wants to talk to the Triceratons, because he knows they're in trouble. They've been trying to contact him, and he wants them to go to space again and go and help out the Triceratons. And Leo just wants order. You know, he's just trying to regain control of what's going on.
He just wants to kill, right? Say his bloodlust.
He just wants to. He wants order. He wants to be in control. So the kind of conversation is like, Raph, if you want more training, Leo says to Raph, if you want more training, I can ask you Sagi. Raph says to Leo, shell that, Leo. If I wanted to learn fancy sword play, I'd watch those movies you waste your time on. And then Mikey pops up. He's put on some John Lennon style tiny glasses. He's like, "Can't we all just get along? Give peace a chance, man." Raph grabs Mikey, looks dead in his eyes, and says, "Mikey, we're not kids anymore. Grow up." And Mikey goes, "Whoa, dude, harsh." And Mike, that's really taken the wind out of Mikey's sails. You're like, "Fuck, okay." And there's more arguing. And Donnie's like, "I really think, we got to do this. We got to do this." And then Raph just goes, "I think it's time I took a break." And Leo retorts, "Sure. You're going to roam the streets in a trench coat again, pretend you're human, pretend you mean something to them up there?" Raph says, "Well, while we're on the subject, why don't you stop pretending you're the father who left us because he was sick to death of your self-righteous ass?" There's a stunned silence that shut everyone up. Mikey walks away sad and Donnie looks completely dishevelled. Donnie pipes up and says, "Master left because of all of us. He said he'd return when we united again." Raph says, "Which we can't do until Mr. High Horse learns some goddamn respect for his family." Mikey's been packing while this argument is going on. He's like picking up his favourite things. We keep panning to different shots of the argument, and Mikey's just like picking up his favourite things, like a plushie of him and like a pillow and his skateboard and things like that. Mikey pipes up while this argument goes on, and he goes, "Guys, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. I'm going to go stay with Casey for a few days. Maybe I'll see you around." And Donnie tries to stop him, and Mikey shakes him off. Now, Mikey's gone before to stay at Casey's. You know, they've had arguments before, and Leo turns to Raph and says, "Do you hear that? See you around." He's never left for more than a day. Master Splinter has left. You get the sense that Master Splinter has left because he can't see his sons to be in turmoil. The argument continues, and Raph's kind of like, maybe Mikey's right, maybe we need some time apart. And there's a montage of the three of them packing and getting ready to leave. Leo leaves first with a bag over his shoulder, like Ryu in the Street Fighter movie, not the shit one, the animated one. And then Raph packs a load of stuff, like he's packing for war. He's got like all these weapons and stuff. He looks at the trench coat in his room that he's worn, that we've seen him wear. It's the popular trope of Raph wearing that trench coat. He looks at it, he grimaces, and he throws it on the ground. He's like, "Fuck this, I don't want Leo to be right." Johnny's in his room doing some calculations on a computer, and then a portal opens in like a mini Stargate. It opens, and he presses a few more buttons. You see a bar of something downloading. He steps through the portal, and then it closes, and you just see like little electrical explosions. Not massive ones, but enough to know that that equipment is now fucked. Cut to a few years later. There's a nightclub, and it's packed. A girl tries to get in. We follow a girl trying to get in. She's got a purple wristband on. The bouncer stops her as she just goes through the door, and he's like, "Sorry, sweetheart, orange bands only past this point." And she's like, "But I paid $500 for this." And he's like, "And that gets you access to the street party. Over there, see? There's a big screen, open bar, great sound system." And you follow her and you pan over to the street party. And the screen suddenly comes alive with this logo of DJ MT. And the crowd goes fucking nuts. Now, you're looking at between the street party and the actual inside of the nightclub. There's smoke, there's lasers, and up through the floor comes DJ MT. It's Mikey. He's got tiny shades on like John Lennon, and he's wearing leather trousers, and he's got tattoos. You're like, what? Mikey grabs the mic and says, "Welcome to the dawning of Aquarius, my most righteous of dudes. Let us begin." And the crowd goes fucking mental. He does this incredible, like, sick set. Like the scene from Matrix Reloaded, when it's like fucking crazy, like crazy rave in the underground city. Yeah. It's like that. Like, people are going fucking crazy. Mikey's drinking, and this is quite important. Yeah, he's drinking, like, hardcore drinking.
Wait, are they still teenagers, Mike?
No.
After these 5 years, okay, that's fine.
No, it's a couple of years. That's why Raph said to Mikey, "We're not kids anymore."
Yeah, I just need to make sure that Mikey was of legal age.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. Anyway, so he's drinking like heavily. And then you pan to him going, "This is the greatest night of my life." Cut to black. And the slow fade in of Mikey face down in his bed in some shitty New York apartment. There's pizza boxes fucking everywhere, but also lots of beer just kind of strewn across. He's still got his leather trousers on. And up jumps a little dog, a little bulldog, French bulldog, and starts licking his face. And that's his wake up, and he just goes, "Eastman, no, oh my head," and he gets up. Nice. And he's like, yeah. He gets up and he's like, he starts walking around, and we see the classic getting over a hangover. He's putting Alka-Seltzers, he's splashing his face. He bumps into a door frame in his state, and you see the tattoo on his shoulder smudges. And you're like, oh, cool, like he's drawn him on. This is artifice. He's not actually got these sick tribal tattoos. They're like terrible tattoos. As he walks past his living room, there's a figure sitting on the sofa, and she says, "I was wondering how long it would take you to wake up." And it's a ninja. Mikey's startled. He scrambles to go and get his nunchucks. He's not got them on him. He doesn't carry them on him anymore. But he starts rifling through pizza boxes really quickly, and he picks up the nunchucks and starts doing this really sloppy kata, like a shit fat Bruce Lee. He's trying to fucking do this kata. He's out of practice, and you see a cockroach run away from the box, and the camera kind of pans on this cockroach running away, just to kind of show you how disgusting the place is. He walks up to the ninja and he goes, "Get ready for some Bruce Lee shit!" And then she kicks him, just one kick, and knocks him to the ground. She looks down at him and says, "You don't even practice anymore, do you? You're sloppy and drinking. Turtles aren't meant to drink. You're twice as sick as a human would be." Mikey goes, "Wait, you know what I am?" And she says, "I'm quite honestly astounded that no one else has figured it out. Body paint and prosthetics, really? Yeah, but I can mix, so..." She states her purpose. She's been sent there by Master Splinter. "I've been asked to unite the four of you." Mikey says, "We don't really talk. I occasionally get emails from Donnie, but Raph and Leo, haven't seen those guys in 3 years." He takes a sip of beer, and she snaps it out of his hands. She says, "Sober up. Remember who you are, Michelangelo, and let's find your brothers." You see, as you pan out, you see that there's another cockroach outside on the windowsill. You're like, that's grim. But yeah, you're there. Anyway, cut to Okinawa, Japan. There's Leo meditating in the middle of a square of a courtyard of kind of an old temple-y kind of building. His eye mask isn't blue anymore. It's white and long. Then you suddenly see a blur, and you can just make out that it's Usagi Yojimbo. Kunai come out of nowhere. Kunai are ninja knives, if you don't know. Leo jumps out at the last minute away from them. Then there's a really fast-paced chase and fight scene where you get these slow-mo pans of Leo and Usagi in battle. So it's like quick, slow. And you see, Leo's taking a swipe at Usagi, and it kind of just cuts one of the hairs on his ears. And like Usagi attacks Leo, and it scrapes across his shell, and you see sparks and all that kind of stuff. And then it ends with them both kind of with a sword at each other. They've both kind of managed to get the upper hand on each other, but at the same time. And they drop and they smile, and clearly they've been friends for a while. And now I'm going to do a terrible, almost Japanese accent. Usagi Yojimbo says, "You have come on far since turning up at my doorstep all those years, Oni-chan." And Leo replies, "Arigato, Usagi-sama." He says, "Your cuts are more efficient than ever. I bet you could stop any weapon with a swift precision. Except my blade, of course." And they laugh, and Leo starts to regale him with that reminds me of a story back when I was training with my brothers, and he stops, because he doesn't talk about his brothers, and he kind of gets sad. Usagi says, "You miss your old brothers. Why do you not go to them?" And he says, "Sometimes it's better to leave stones unturned." At that point, a stone is hurled at Leo, and he deflects it, cutting it in twain. You've never seen Leo move this quickly, and he's just cut a stone in half. "Dude, you're faster than I've ever seen you!" Mikey? "Actually, it's DJMT now. Haven't you seen the news?" And Usagi jumps in, seeing his old friend. He's like, "The reception here is bad. All we get are 80s cartoons reruns." Then there's exposition. Why are they there? This is, the ninjas here, and she's saying blah, 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 blah. They need to find the brothers. Usagi's like, "Well, come out of the cold. Let's eat." So they're eating. It's kind of nighttime now. And they're still talking about stuff. Usagi's complaining about the amount of flies that there are. He's seen that there's more flies than there normally are. He's like, they get everywhere. Maybe there's he catches one with chopsticks, Mr. Miyagi sort of thing, maybe. Little kind of pastiche. He mentions the flies again, and he says, it almost feels like they're watching us, like when you were watching us, Kurai. The ninja, who's been travelling with Mikey, takes a step back. She looks shocked. Leo draws his swords. She says, "How did you?" And he says, "I could never forget that scent." And there's a massive argument. Leo wonders why the daughter of the Shredder wants the four turtles in the same place at the same time. Clearly she wants revenge for what they did to her father. Mikey argues that it's okay, she's fine, people change. Usagi steps in as the voice of reason and says, "It's true. Some sharpen while others become," and he looks at Mikey, "blunt." Kurai defends herself and says that her blood doesn't define who she is. She was sent by Master Splinter, and they can all meet with him once all four of them are united. Leo eventually decides to go because basically he's scared for Mikey's safety. He's like, I know that Karai is a powerful enemy. I need to come for protection, and you are in no shape to protect yourself anymore. They go to leave in the morning, and Leo goes to Usagi. He's like, "Come on, we're gonna go and find the other guys." And Usagi's like, "I will not travel with you. This is your quest, Leonardo." They need to get in touch with Donnie, and Mikey says, "I know just the egghead." They travel back to New York to meet Mikey's lighting engineer from his DJing stuff, a guy called Nigel Laird. He's actually someone from MIT, and he helps Mikey out because it's his chance to meet girls. Because in MIT, there's not an awful lot of women. He's actually a theoretical physicist. They convince him to come with them to help out for what they're doing, but they're attacked by locusts out of nowhere. Like, these locusts just fucking descend like a biblical plague. This is where Mikey is kind of the comedic relief. You see Leo doing all the kind of sword swipey stuff. You also see Karai move for the first time like a ninja, and it's really impressive. And Leo notices that, and he respects that. He's like, okay, begrudgingly, I respect that. But there's a comedy beat where Mikey's spinning his nunchucks, and there's just like viscera going everywhere, and they're like, "Cut it out, you dickhead," that kind of thing. Anyway, they get to the base, and they get to Donnie's lab, forgetting that some of the booby traps to get into the turtle lair are still there. So Mikey nearly dies. He nearly gets caught by one. Leo saves him and gives him the old "you owe me" trope. I've literally written down here, Technobabble, they have a Skype call. So, there will be, I can reroute the power fluctuation to meet the extraterrestrial in the fucking blah, 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 blah. They managed to call Donnie's house. You see two Triceratons there, and they have a nice conversation with the team down on Earth. And then Donnie moves them out the way. He's got a scanner on, like in Dragon Ball Z, on his left eye, and he's got all like this tech and stuff, and he's got like Dr. Octopus arms coming out the top of his shell, and they're like doing sciencey things. And clearly he's having the time of his life with his new Triceraton buddies. They have a really nice conversation. Donnie's really glad to hear them. They explain the situation. And said, "Can you just portal back here and go and do it that way?" Donnie says that he can't use that portal again because he rigged it to randomize if it was ever used again. And then Donnie says, it's a pathway to the multiverse. You could end up in Dimension X, or a dimension where we're superheroes or humans in rubber suits. But Donnie has a life here, and what? And besides, something's happening to the Triceratons that he needs to look after, and there seems to be a war coming. They keep getting eaten by these swarms, and they don't understand what's going on. Mikey says, "No way, we just had to survive a locust thing. Crazy world, ha 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 ha." An alarm suddenly goes off, and Donnie has to go and check on it. The transmission starts breaking up, but you see Donnie sort of take to arms, and one of the Triceratons gets thrown across the room, and then you just hear the phrase of soldiers chanting the word "drag, drag, drag," and this is repeated before the comms completely black out, and you see Donnie just about to jump into battle. Mikey wants to help. He's like, "We've got to find a way. We've got to help Donnie." Leo says Donnie's got it handled. He's come back from far worse. Besides, you're in no shape to help anyone out. Mikey gets really offended. "What do you mean?" And Karai says, "It means you have a month before we go looking for Raphael, and you better use it to get back in shape." Cut to training montage. He's getting a little bit better each time, blah, 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 blah. You see a moment where Leo and Karai are sort of training him, and they make googly eyes at each other, and you're like, "That's nice." And then Mikey gets the drop on. Mikey gets the drop. Turtle. Mikey gets the drop on them, and he like hits them both with a nunchuck, and they're like, we got. That's crazy.
Is that an actual line of dialogue?
No, that's not. They head to Thailand, and they end up in a small village out in the middle of nowhere. And there's this building, and there's like a basement, and you can hear noises underneath, like a crowd. And Karai says, "I'll go in," because Leo doesn't want to talk to Raph. They're the reason the whole argument started. They fucking hate each other. They go underground. She goes underground to find there's basically a Muay Thai fight club. And you're watching two people really go at it, but like properly in like the Muay Thai style. It's brutal. The art of 8 limbs. There's elbows and knees fucking flying everywhere.
Like on
and then
back.
in steps the new the new challenger, Raf, who's in full Muay Thai gear with the headband and the armbands and stuff, and he fights fucking brutally. It's violent. There's blood. Everyone's cheering for him, but he takes it too far, and the crowd turns and they start booing him, and the fight gets broken up because it's too violent, and Raf's shaken off 2 guys that are trying to stop him, and he roars at the crowd, and clearly they don't like, they start calling him monster and demon and things like that, and they start packing out. Raf goes into his locker room and slams the door. Karai stays as the crowd sort of are leaving, and the guy who got beaten to a bloody pulp is hoisted on someone's back, and they take him outside. She follows Raf in, and she's the first person he's seen in a while that hasn't been horrified by his appearance. So he's surprised by this, and she's not. You don't know she's Karai. She's like wearing her ninja outfit again. So, and he's like, I don't do autographs, so leave me alone. And she tells him that there's someone who wants to speak to them. The conversation continues between the two of them, and Mikey walks in while Leo's sort of grumping outside. And they get talking. Raf calls him DJ MT. Mikey's surprised. What? And Raf says, well, we've got YouTube here too, But the fights haven't been going right recently. This is what Raf's talking about, how things are in Thailand, what he learned. Maybe there's a little flashback of him learning Muay Thai. But the fights haven't been going right recently. The crowd's turning. They think I'm too violent. Then you hear a voice at the back of the room. It's Leo saying, "You always did suck at playing nice." And the mood of the room completely changes. Raf says, "I've got nothing to say to you." And this escalates and escalates, is slowly building tension. And eventually their macho bullshit gets in the way, and they say, right, no weapons, let's step in the ring. My style versus yours. Mikey's in the sidelines, like, eating popcorn, being like, dude, this is awesome! Karai's like, ugh, men. And it's Muay Thai versus Japanese Judo, like the film Samurai of Yamada. If you haven't watched it, it's an awesome Thai film about a samurai who starts learning Muay Thai, but it's about Muay Thai versus Japanese style. The fight is incredible, and it's shot in an Eastern style, so it isn't punch reaction. It's shot in almost like a single take, so you really feel the hits that are going on between the two of them. It looks slick, but it looks violent. Raf nearly wins, but his kindness gets the better of him. He's got Leo on the ground, and he's about to administer the finishing elbow, and he doesn't do it. And Leo actually finishes with a brutal side kick that sends him to the floor. Raf says, "Fine, arsehole, but I'm doing this for Splinter." Leo corrects him and says, "Master Splinter." Mikey comes between the two of them and says, "Father," and that kind of brings them out of their macho bullshit, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, father." As they walk out to go to find Master Splinter, Mikey treads on some ants, and there's a bit of comedy. He's like, "Ooh, they're in my toes, it's gross. It's horrible." Cut to the Triceraton ship, and there's ridiculous space war going on. Donnie's amongst the Triceratons, fighting alongside them against these mantis-looking warrior things, and there's a battle. Donnie manages to get on the Dreg flagship, but it's empty. He hacks the main computer because he's wiring it to self-destruct and return to their base and self-destruct. But he stumbles upon some files that belong to the leader. And he sees a picture. He's going through and he starts seeing files about Earth. And he sees a picture of Splinter. And suddenly his face drops because he can read whatever this language is. And his face just drops. He turns to one of the Triceratons and says, "Bothrock, I've got to go home right now." Cut to a Star Wars X-Wing style. When the X-Wings leave the hangar? That very specific type of shot. One of the Triceraton dropships is doing that, and Donnie's in that dropship. It's like a one-man fighter thing. And he's off. Two Triceratons are looking, and they're the ones you saw from home during the Skype call. One turns to the other and said, "Why must our brother leave so soon?" The other one turns and says, "For the same reason he came in the first place, Kragnar. Family." We're back in Japan, and it's the home of Yamato Yoshi, which, for those of you who don't know, is the real name of Splinter. It's an old home. It's a temple on top of a hill, and inside is ninja equipment, like a dojo. There's an old box, like a chest and a TV set with a VCR player and a shelf full of like ready-made noodles. And when Leo sees this, he shakes his head. He's like, Master never knew how to look after himself for food. They start exploring the house, and Raph is going for an old box. He opens it up and he finds a picture of them as like tiny turtles when they just started out, when they were like really, really young kids. And then underneath the picture, there are their first bandanas, these tiny little bandanas in the colours. And he looks at them, and it kind of, for a split second, Raph really softens up. They ask where is Master Splinter? And Karai grabs a VHS and puts it into the machine. Splinter appears on the screen, and he says, "My sons, if you're watching this, I've crossed the threshold into another realm." And then there's some exposition. He's dead. The reason he left wasn't because he wanted to see his sons unite. It was because he was ill. And he left because he was looking at alternate medicine, but he didn't want his sons to worry. So he passed the blame onto them, and for that he's sorry. But the video ends with him saying, "Do not fear Karai, she has been indispensable." He explains that she trained under him. When the Shredder died, she sought him out after he left. After he left the brothers, the Turtles, and she's been training under him for years. And then he says, "And like a rat, I returned here to die peacefully." And then the tape finishes. It's a sad night. They're all kind of mourning and they're swapping stories, but you've got this sense that they're all closer again. And they go to sleep. And then at first light, Leo is on the roof of the building, meditating, watching the sunrise, and he sees a glint on the horizon. He's coming in fast, and he alerts the other guys. He's like, "Guys, we've got something." And it's Donnie in the dropship. He knows Splinter's dead. That's what he read on the computer monitor. That's why he came to the house of Hamato Yoshi. It turns out this is what Donnie learned. So there's a reunion, obviously, but Donnie's like, "Enough of that. Here's some exposition." It turns out that Splinter was viewed as a protector of Earth. Because he repelled the Krang when the Krang tried to invade. The Turtles sort of got forgotten about in the galactic reporting of this. But as far as the Krang reports were concerned, it was Splinter, who's like the dojo master, and the Turtles were just like his minions. So it was Splinter that kicked the Krang out and destroyed the Technodrome. So he's this great protector. Now, Vringath Dreg from the planet Sectoid, has been waiting. He's been trying to take over the Earth. He's the one that's been warring with the Triceratons, and Earth is the jewel in his crown. It's a valuable target. He wants to succeed where the Krang has failed as a mark of honor, and he's coming personally to the house of Hamato Yoshi. It's the drop point for the invasion. He's going to be the first boots on the ground because he wants to personally eradicate Hamato Yoshi's memory from the face of the planet, from the galaxy, so he can report that back and go, "I am supreme leader. I've destroyed the Triceratons, and now I own Earth. Fuck you." While this is going on, Mikey spots a cockroach, and it looks awfully like the one he saw back at his house. And then there's another one, and then there's another one, and another one, and out from underneath the house, a whole swarm of cockroaches goes underneath their feet, goes to an open ground, forms a circle, and some sort of weird alien sigil that no one can read, apart from Donnie, who looks at it and says, "We need to get ready." And Leo says, "Why?" He says, "That says Dreg." Then there's another glint on the horizon, and shaboom, an escape pod opens, and it's Dreg, and he looks fucking terrifying. Vringath Dreg, Lord and Emperor of the Sectoid of planet Sectoid, steps out. There's some exposition. There's not a lot. They know why he's here. He knows he didn't expect to see them, but he just thinks they're minions. So a big fight happens. Stuff happens. There's a big fight. The Turtles win, obviously, and there's a message sent to the Triceratons that Sectoid is dead, and suddenly all the Mantis soldiers stop fighting because they're sort of linked to Sectoid. There's like a hive mind thing going on. And they notice all the cockroaches have died as well. Now we're getting to the end part. Karai vows to protect the house of Hamato Yoshi and start a training school there in his honor. She's going to stay in Japan, while the boys need to go back to doing what they do best. So, just before they go, Leo says to Karai, "I'm sorry that I doubted you. I've respected you. You are who you say you are. It does show me that people can change." And before he finishes that sentence, she just gives him a kiss. Like, not like tongues or anything weird, Callum.
I'm still sorry, mate.
Gives
This
him a
is
kiss.
very Sonic 06.
She gives him a kiss, and he, don't you fucking dare say that. Gives him a kiss, and he has a little blush, and it's lovely. Anyway, and the boys rib him for it. They're like, "Whoa," you know.
Boys.
Anyway, it's a few weeks later, and a hipster is being mugged in New York. He's like a quintessential hipster. It gets stopped by 4 shadowy ninja figures, and when you see them, all you can see is the whites of their eyes, and they walk forward, and you see them in the half light, and obviously it's the turtles, but they look dark, like they look scary. You're seeing it through the eyes of the mugger. The mugger pisses his pants and runs away, dropping the wallet. The wallet is caught by a nunchuck hit by Mikey, who catches he swings it up and hits the wallet back into his other hand. He walks over to the hipster and he's like, "I think you dropped this, dude." And the hipster shits his pants because he's like, "It's a fucking giant Ninja Turtle," and runs away. Raph's like, "Some things never change." And Mikey's rifling through the wallet, picks out the money. He's like, "Pizza's on me." And the guy's grown, but that's what they want. They're all sitting on top of the quintessential New York skyline. They're sitting on the roof of somewhere, and they're eating pizza. When you pan over New York, you see that there's like a news, there's like a TV shop, and you see the news that says DJ MT missing for several weeks. Where is the enigmatic performer? And they kind of rib him for that. They say, you got to go back to it. And he's like, "No, dude, I'm where I'm supposed to be." Leo stops for a minute and mid pizza and goes, "You know what, boys? It's good to have a night off." Donnie says, "Off? We just stopped a mugging." Raph says, "Compared to what we've been doing for the past 3 years, this is a retirement cruise." Mikey gets really pumped up. He's like, "Yeah, we're back, baby. Turtle power on 3. Puts his hand in. The guys groan, get up and walk away, leaving Mikey. And you just see these silhouettes of them walking away. And Mikey's like, "Oh, come on, guys. Oh, we're back. Come on." And like, they're walking away like, "It's not going to happen, Mikey. Let it go." Fade to black. Cue music. Cue credits.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go.
We can do Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go, if that's what you want.
If it's anything but that, I'm boycotting your move.
Well, it can be like the new Ninja Turtles films where there was a ninja rap still. So,
Jesus.
yeah.
Tell me about what do these guys look like? Is it animated? Is it CGI?
I'm thinking it's animated, probably like 3D animation.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
But
Okay.
not with, like, Michael Bay faces.
Not with Michael Bay faces, no. Like
No
they look
noses.
they look like cool fucking Ninja Turtles. They look like that's sort of like an updated version of the 2007 movie.
Yeah.
Where things are like
that was really awesome.
That
There's
went
a
balls
lot
deep
going on.
Turtles mythology.
I fucking told you that I'm about the turtles.
This is why I only came up with 2 words, Mike. Because there was no point putting more effort into something when you're going to go, so, if you could open your books to page 266 of TMNT mythology.
Right,
this will be subchapter B.
I like how you didn't even mention that Usagi Yojimbo is a giant rabbit. You were just like, yeah, that's what assumed, isn't it? Yeah, sure, everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's a giant rabbit, that's cool.
Everyone's all about the rabbit samurai these
All
days,
of
right?
this.
Yeah, and he looks old as well because obviously these guys aren't teenagers anymore, and I always like the idea of like, well, what happens when they grow up? And it's something I actually asked Kevin Eastman twice, once in an interview, which I think you can probably still find on YouTube for Geek Pride. I literally asked him, if you had to end the Turtles, how would you end it? And he mentioned that well, he'd want Leo and Raph to kind of make friends again. and end their days like on a front porch somewhere on a rocking chair. But he wanted Donnie to go up into space, and I was like, of course Donnie would do that. Of
He
course
didn't say
Donnie
in
would do
blood
that.
and fire then.
No, he didn't say in blood and fire. But yeah, I really like. I took on a couple of literally Kevin Eastman's ideas and ran with a few of my own. I really want to see a Ninja Turtle do Muay Thai because it's something that I'm quite passionate about. I think as a fighting style, it's brutal and it looks really good. And I'm seeing a fucking massive, bulky, muscly turtle do that sounds fucking cool to me.
So on back, but with Raphael.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the idea that Mikey, the party boy, has a fucking drink problem.
I just like his fake tribal dance.
That was good. Yeah.
I also like the idea, though, that he has one real tat, but it's a tramp stamp.
Under the shell.
Underneath the shell.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
For a minute,
Right,
I did actually think you might, when you mentioned the scanner, I thought you might actually be about to suddenly cross over with Dragon Ball. I was like, it's a bold move.
Suddenly,
I don't know how he's going to pull this off.
Suddenly Vegeta turns up. Maybe you could...
Shockingly, the turtles can't fight him.
Right, Callum, it's your turn for two reasons. One, I want to hear... Three reasons. One, I'm nearly out of voice. Two, I want to hear your pitch. And if you mention the female turtle, we're going to have a problem. And three, my corned beef hash has just arrived. So
Do you
I'm gonna
mean
eat while
if I
you,
mention
do
the
that.
female turtle as in the one I made up when I couldn't remember the actual name?
Either. Don't mention any female turtles. You absolute savage. Right, I'm gonna go on mute and only pipe in if you really do offend me. So good luck.
We open with two female turtles.
God damn it! We just spoke about this, you motherfucker.
Oh my god! If I just Ghostbusters 2016, it's just Mike's pitch, but with female turtles instead.
Fuck! God damn it!
Okay, no. So Mike's base. I cannot do what Mike just did. I do not know the turtles that well. My familiarity with turtles is basically from watching them when they were men in rubber suits when I was a wee babby, and then some of the later cartoons when they were fighting like those weird like mouse hunter robots.
The mouses.
Yeah, whatever they were called.
They're
Oh my
Baxter.
God,
They're Baxter
you have
Stockman's
lost
mouses.
this. Just you may as well just quit now. This is not going to go well for you. In some way.
So, this is not going to be the deep dive into every facet of Turtles lore that you just got. But the way I see it is, which Mike managed to sort of cover both of it, is that Turtles tends to be either a super dark, like, these are fucking ninjas, dude, or it tends to be, these are Teenage Mutant Turtles. And that's what I'm going to do, because that's... for me, Turtles are a Saturday morning kids show. And so, my idea of them
Fucking
is
blasphemy.
big and brash, and so I want to open on similar to one of the sequences which I actually thought TMNT2, the Michael Bay one, got a little closer to right, in that we open with some big... I don't know, it would have to be like a big track, like classic Run DMC or something, and the Turtles van bursts into view. And they're, careening through New York. We get some of the classic Turtles banter in. Donnie's freaking out while he's driving because it's going really well but really fast, and this is the first proper test of the truck. Mikey's going crazy because he's way too excited about the fact that they are driving the Turtles truck. They're just chasing like some sort of burglars, It's a high-speed bank robbery, these dudes came in on motorcycles, grabbed cash, they're on the run, and then the Turtles have come out of nowhere. And you sort of get this mostly through snippets of police chatter and so on. And I want there to be a scene where, like, you remember in Batman Begins, there's that bit where the cop's in the car and he's trying to describe the Batmobile? And he goes, they're in a black tag. That sort of moment, but where he's trying to describe the fact that he just saw 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a modified pizza truck just go driving past. And we've got to get things like the whole sewer grate shooter. No matter, ultimately catch them, then they do their whole disappearing off into the night. Police show up. There's some very confused thieves, very confused police. Sort of this tacit, let's never talk about the fact that we didn't catch you. They go back, we get to the sewer. Classic thing with them. I'm not immediately jumping into the whole fractious nature at this point. You can. There's clearly those bits, but there's got to be those bits between my Raph and Leo where they're sort of, a bit. Oh, I'm in charge. Yeah, but I should be in charge. Yeah, but I've got swords. Yeah, but I've got these oversized forks. So, who's really cooler?
Clearly the answer to that is Raphael, and they're not fucking oversized forks, they're Sai, thank you very much.
I believe that is Japanese for oversized fork. I'm going to need a minority report
Japanese
on
for
that.
Dickhead.
But so you got this, you get Splinter come out, you get the nice, sort of family dynamic, but it's got to be similar to actually what Mike did, where there's not a lot of... I don't want to be having to tell the Turtles' origin story. I guess it's a kids' movie, but I feel like it's the sort of thing where you know what these are. Like, you don't need to go, oh, you came out of the U's, and this is my whole connection to every villain we will ever face, and this is... I don't want it over-explained, I just want it to be like... When you watch that as a kid, you do not need to ask questions about the fact that there is giant turtles. Just like, this is awesome. There are Ninja Turtles. That seems totally believable. So you get the whole relationship, and then you've got to get the classic thing where they show up and Splinter comes out, and they have their whole, oh crap, we've been caught moment. Because they are still meant to be not going up outside, and while he appreciates that they're trying to be heroes, you've got to appreciate that you're fucking giant turtles. And most people aren't very chill with giant turtles. But they keep going off, and the fracture starts coming out there, where it's about, Mikey wants to go out, but he's ultimately too sort of happy-go-lucky to really want to make a fight of it. Donnie's happy to sort of stay and tinker, but it's that insistence between Leo going, I can accept Master Splinter's orders, and Raph going, I think what we're doing is more important than following orders. And so while they sort of go off to do their various things, it's not meant to be a big fight, but it's not meant to be enough of a go to your rooms and cool off moment. Raph goes up, and he starts... he goes, he sort of sneaks out again. And... there's got to be one way. So he's sort of stalking New York. You maybe see him stop a mugging or some kind of minor crime like that. Donnie, meanwhile, has sort of as a peacemaker gone to talk to Raph, found he's not in his room. Rather than tell Master Splinter, what he does is he sends a drone up. And so you get these cool sort of drone sky cam shots of New York, and he's sort of whizzing through streets. You see like the aftermath of Raph going through. You see a woman who was, maybe someone tried to mug her. She's desperately trying to explain to the police what happened. And then, you get everything. Maybe in one of these shots, you see, or you get a brief glimpse of April, reporting on it. But it's very brief. It's almost like was that April? Going along. And he eventually finds Raph, and Raph's on a rooftop. And you get this sort of odd moment where they're talking to each other through the drone. Like the drone's got a little microphone that Donnie can speak through. And Raph's sort of like how in Captain America Civil War, Falcon uses Redbird and Black Widow is like, I'm not talking to that thing. It's a drone. it's that sort of relationship where Raph's like, I'm not talking to you through a drone, Donnie. This is weird. I don't like the fact that I'm meant to treat this like it's a person in front of me. And then you hear... it's like you either hear a scream or you hear like a crack. You know, you hear some sort of alarm. Something that alarms Raph to the fact that there's something going on. I think it's actually probably better if it's... it'll be a scream. He goes off, and you see him sort of do this cool... where he dives off a roof and rolls into... it's like a office block. Crashes through a window, rolls, sighs out. And it's just really dark. There's nothing in there, and he can't see anything wrong. And then he hears like this sort of mute, muffled, sort of sobbing, gasping breath, and he runs around and he finds this woman.
I swear to God, if this is a female turtle.
And he's finding this woman, and she's turning into a turtle in front of his very eyes. And she says, "Help me, Raph. You're my only hope." No,
What?
It's a woman. She's been stabbed, or she's bleeding out, and she sort of can't get words out. But he realizes that whoever got her must still be in here, and so he sort of starts slowly trying to explore this place. And what he finds is in one of the offices, he sort of sees a light on in one of the offices and goes in and slowly pushes it open. Donnie, meanwhile, is still following him with the drone, but he's a bit behind because of how fast Raph took off. And you see Raph start open the door enough, and then the door like slams back into him, and suddenly you cut back to the drone's view, trying to catch up. And when it finally catches up, we're in the office, and we see all this through the drones. It'd be cooler. It intercuts between the drone and Raph here. I don't know how jarring that would be, but if it could be pulled off, it'd be quite cool. And you basically see this fight. The fight's in the middle of happening by the time we arrive. And it's Raph versus 2 Foot Clan ninjas. And they're fighting, and it's quite... What's got to be clear here is that even though Raph is skilled, we're quite early in the Turtles' career here. They're still technically supposed to not be going above ground, and they're very used to fighting people who aren't trained. As much as they train against each other, this is the first fight where they're going up against someone with similar training to them who is aiming to hurt them. And Raph ultimately, he manages to knock one down, but he ultimately has to sort of clear space for himself. I think the drone comes out and it's got probably like a little taser attachment or something similar, or... It wouldn't even necessarily have to be violent. It could even be like just a sort of giant pulse light thing. Just it's got some sort of distraction where it can... Donnie manages to get this off. The Foot Clan are sort of momentarily distracted. Raph manages to burst out of the building, and he sort of stags his way back home, with Donnie sort of providing Overwatch cover for him. He gets in, he staggers in, and Donnie's got Mikey and Leo together to sort of go, something's happened, Raph's been in a fight, he's hurt. And then they're having the whole thing, like, what was that? He's trying to explain, fucking ninjas, I don't know, they were in this building, they killed a woman. And then Splinter comes in, and he tells everyone to get out of the room. Except for, obviously, Raph, who's all, stabbed and shit. And there is a moment there, it's like, Master Splinter, I feel I should, and he goes, no, you get out of the room. And he talks to Raph, and he gets the story, because he'd heard bits of it, and he wants him to go through it again. And he goes, have Donnie see to your injuries, and then you are to not leave the sewer. And then you have a bit more of like, them wondering what was going on, the Turtles being kind of mad about being grounded. Raph feels he's a bit slighted by the fact that, he's come out, he's fight these ninjas, and he's not being told anything, even though it's very obviously meaningful to Master Splinter. And then you have this sort of scene where Splinter asks Donnie to show him the drone footage. And as he's doing it, you've got to sort of get this impression that Splinter is trying to work out how the drone works. And he's sort of having to show Donnie, have Donnie show him how you would use this drone. And he watches and is over it, and then Donnie, again goes like, what does this mean? Who are these guys? Do you know them? And he goes, it's nothing for you to worry about now. And there's got to be this sort of relationship of, the way I sort of see it is, Leo and Splinter have a relationship where they're all obviously father-son relationship, but Leo has the most expected of him, and so there's a slight coldness to their relationship, where a lot of the time it's closer to student-master than father-son, because partially on Leo's own part, but it's got to be this thing of, I expect you to lead the others. And if you can't do that, then you need to sort of, be upfront about that, because you've put yourself in the place of leader as much as I have. And so he expects Leo to do that. Raph, he loves, but I think Splinter always knows. There's this sort of sense that at some point Raph is either going to disappoint him or leave him. And he's sort of closing himself off to that in a way. Mikey, he doesn't expect anything of. He loves Mikey, and he values the fact that Mikey is able to bring that sort of childlike joy to the others, considering how serious, because, Leo's determined to be the leader, and I'm gruff, and I'm going to be the best ninja there ever was. Raph's, caught up in being edgy as fuck, writing down all his poetry in a little journal about how he's an angry, angry turtle. Probably plays a bit of...
Objection.
Is that not the kind of edgy you like from your Raph?
No. Objection.
No, Raph probably actually just plays like... Actually, no, I don't want him to play guitar. Guitar's too obvious. But he plays something.
3 fingers.
Piccolo flute.
Definitely not piccolo flute.
I'm so angry with you guys. I'm going to go and play my flute.
Actually, no. Raph plays bass because you can pluck a bass with 2 fingers, and you get some real punky scene of him. And that's his, outlet, is when he's pissed off, you just hear this really, thrashy bass from his room.
That is a horrible image. That's so... Oh, sorry, go on.
And actually, almost the most natural relationship is Splinter and Donnie, because the way I sort of see the hierarchy in terms of... They're sort of meant to be similar ages, as far as I'm aware. I'll happily take correction on that. Mike, I believe they're basically the exact same age.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Yeah. But I always, at least in the way they're portrayed, feel that it's like Leo, Mike, Raph, Don, Mikey, in sort of the way they act. And so I feel like Mikey's the baby, Leo's the firstborn, the eldest son. Raph's sort of got the most middle child syndrome. And Donnie's relationship with Splinter in this is that Splinter can be a bit more open with him, because Donnie's not expected to then turn out... Because Donnie's kind of the peacemaker in the family, and he's often the one trying to go... Without the jokiness of Mikey, he's trying to work out how they can work together, and he's sort of quieter, and he thinks about it more. And so without necessarily just straight up telling him stuff, Splinter can maybe suggest a bit more to him and open up about the other turtles and say, what's the deal with Raph and his...
Is he testing his stand-up routine?
So, hey guys,
come on!
What is the deal with this Raph guy?
Oh, that's a really sad image. Like in Community when Troy and Abed do the stand-up, but it's literally for them.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's Abed doing stand-up for Troy, and Jeff and Pierce don't understand it. I imagine now that they do one Mikey or Donnie does a stand-up set, but only for the 3 other turtles and Master Splinter.
I can definitely see Mikey doing that as part of I don't know how you would fit that into a film necessarily, other than this sort of random shot just to show what the family's like. But yeah, so, and often you get these things of, but you've got that sort of relationship. Splinter doesn't understand what Donnie does, but he wants to be able to understand it. So sort of show his appreciation more. But anyway, so you have him, and he's obviously shaken, and he says to Donnie, I need you to put this aside. I need you to... This footage, this can't be seen by the others anymore, because it will just... This is dangerous, and until I know more, you're not to do anything. So they go to the various things. Raph's playing in his room. Leo's probably going through kata. He's, those wooden sort of dummy training things. Like he has an arrow where he's got like the arms, and he does all the sort of blocking and stuff around it. He's maybe working on one of those, because I think those always look really cool in training sequences, even though I'm not entirely clear what you get out of it.
It's about blocking. It's about shot placement and blocking.
Okay, and if we really want to lean into the arrow comparison, maybe we see him doing the salmon ladder, and it just focuses on those sick turtle abs. It's like, turtle. So you might have been implicitly Sonic 06, Mike. Mine's about to get very explicit. Anyway, so you go back to the turtles are all in the main room, and it's the evening after, and they're watching the news, and it's April reporting. And she's going, there was a break-in at the place, but no one seems to have been injured, which is obviously them first of all going, that's weird, because Raph saw a dead person. And she just says, it seems like there were vandals. And so Raph's pissed off because the others are looking at him going like... They obviously don't disbelieve him because Donnie saw it on the drone. But they're sort of going... maybe what was going on there? We're not sure. It's hard to tell, we weren't there, Raph. This is why you... And Leo's sort of like, this is why you can't run off. You clearly weren't prepared. Something's going on here, and we weren't there to help you. Raph's mad that he got the shit beaten out of him for almost, no recognition from the others. And you then, get more classic... And meanwhile, what you have is Splinter creeps out that night and goes there himself. And when Donnie goes back and he finds his drone has been played with, and when he
I hate that.
I fucking hate that when I come home and my drone.
I know, right? But he basically works out that Splinter was smart enough from watching him to learn how to use the drone. He wasn't smart enough to erase the sort of footage.
Oh no! Well shot nudes. Shot rat nudes. This isn't what the world needs, Callum.
I told you it was going to get
I thought
explicit.
you could be more. I thought you could be less heinous with the not talking about female turtles, but you've managed to top it.
Artful rat nudes. And in fact, this is where the female turtles appear. For the only scene in the film, there is with no explanation. Just Splinter with these two female
I just
turtles.
want to point out that we are also nearly at an hour, and I know I went on for half an hour, but that means you've been on for about 27 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's alright. I'm going to speed the rest of it speed through a bit. So
There's
then,
a big fight and everyone dies at the end.
Yeah, boom. No, so basically, Donnie sees Splinter scouted out the building with the drone, and he also scouted out several other locations, which Donnie has no context for, why these would be of interest. Splinter goes, investigates, and as he comes back, he's confronted by the turtles, who are like, what the fuck is going on? We saw, where are these other places? Which Donnie had reviewed, and he'd found, by reviewing them and sort of pulling up traffic cam footage, he'd seen at one of these other locations movement from one of the other... he'd spotted a Foot Clan ninja. Oh, actually, no, they don't wait for Splinter. Splinter comes back and he finds a note saying, "Gone out." And he's obviously, and then he runs to the room, and I think they've just like left up the footage they found from his tracking, and he realizes I done fucked up, and they've gone after the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
They go to this location. They're sort of spying on them. Foot Clan are in there doing shady things. They plug in. Basically, turns out the office they stole from was a, and in this for the first film I don't want it to be super crazy. Aside from the fact that there are turtles and a giant rat, like that's about the peak of crazy. So the Foot Clan are just stealing like financial information or just something to establish greater power in the city because they've not been here for years. They're now coming back. And just to sort of broad stroke some more of it, basic idea is that Splinter's obviously fought them before, but this was before Shredder was Shredder, as it were. So this is back when he was a bit less of a, scissor-armoured motherfucker.
Okay.
He was more of just a plain old bad ninja.
Okay. I mean, he was that was his weapon of choice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like...
It's fine. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, the difference between regular old... in the new ones when he's just dressed as a regular dude, and then he turns into the giant, like, blades everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going that crazy with the Shredder armor in this, but it's more that sort of gone from a dude who maybe has, like, the spike... Is there a proper name for what he has? On his hand?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, whatever it may be, gone from a dude who happens to use those to a dude who then, by the time he shows up, is in more... It's quite armoured, and it's not over the top where it's got the weird array of blades that Michael Bay stuck on it. But it's bigger blades, and it's got, It's closer to Azrael as Batman post Nightfall.
Oh, okay.
Nice reference.
But anyway, so the years ago when it was just Splinter here and he was a young man and the Foot Clan were quite small, and this was a sort of ambitious young Shredder decides, I'm gonna fucking take New York City because I'm a badass and all my friends call me Shredder because of my sick skateboard tricks.
God.
That will be verbatim dialogue.
Oh.
But Splinter, with some friends, non-female turtle friends, but just good ninjas. I don't feel the need to specify them too much. Basically, managed to run them out of the city. But ever since then, Splinter's heard whisperings of following that defeat, the Foot Clan started growing and getting darker. They went from sort of just we just want to be like the biggest gang to we will kill and extort and full bad Yakuza.
Sorry to interrupt. I should have known what the Shredders thing is called. It doesn't actually have a name because the Shredder was created when Eastman was fucking around with a cheese grater and on his arm, and because he was using it as like a gauntlet, and then they decided to create a character based entirely off of a cheese shredder, and then they were arguing over the name, and Laird said, "Why don't we just call him the Shredder?" Okay. That's literally... I knew that. I was
back
told
in the day,
by the man himself.
Before he was a badass, he probably was called Grater or something.
Okay.
When
Brilliant.
Splinter first fought him. Which is why Splinter's a bit concerned when he starts hearing this guy call himself Shredder, and he's like, whoa, sounds like he's got an upgrade. Don't want to be going too hard with this gen.
Right, anyway...
But
you're vastly running over time.
They go in, the Turtles have their first fight against the Foot Clan. It doesn't go great. With them all together, it obviously goes better than them fighting Raph. Fucking Splinter has to show up, save them, kick some ass. They all go back. They have a big, family. Oh my god, what's up with these bad ninjas? Splinter's like, oh, well, when I was a young rat, I fought the bad ninjas. Donnie, during the course of the fight, managed to clone the data. And he's like, this is, they're trying to take over the city. They're going to be, this is going to give them access to all of the financial institutions. Or, it's something like that, where it's your typical movie, like, this one thing gives them all the power they could possibly need. So they're like, we gotta stop it. And Splinter's like, you cannot fight them. You do not understand how badass these guys are. And he goes, then you're gonna have to show us how. You maybe get a bit of a training montage here, where he's like, fine, if you're so determined, then I will show you what you're up against. And it's not like a training montage in terms of them getting better. It's a training montage in terms of Splinter just going all out when training them and showing them how outclassed they are.
Yeah.
So then he's like, now you understand. You can't fight them.
Yeah.
There are others. We'll have to find another way. They're obviously not down for this, Raph in particular. So Raph goes out again, like a complete arse. Decides,
What is your fucking problem with Raphael? Like,
he's a hothead, Mike, and he needs to be reined in. So he goes off. They're like, shit, he's gone off. They go after him. We get another big fight that actually goes reasonably well for them this time, because they're starting to. You get that sort of interplay between them where Leo's like chatting shit about Raph running off, and Raph's going, yeah, but I'm the big bad man here. I held out, maybe he held out long.
Is that verbatim dialogue?
Yeah, all of this is verbatim. This is voiceover I'm doing right now, Mike. But maybe like Raph held out longest in the Splinter training session, so he's like, I still held out 10 seconds longer than you.
Yeah.
And they're ultimately it's a small squad of Foot Clan they beat, and they're a bit tired out, and they're like, oh, that went pretty well, guys. And then Shredder shows up, and he's very sort of mocking of them, like, children, you haven't even begun to learn what the Foot Clan can do. And he demolishes them, just completely takes them apart.
The end.
Yeah, that's it. The turtles die. No, but Donnie manages to. Basically, he'd been working on the drone ever since. You'd seen him in his spare time, and on the way to this fight, you'd seen him sort of tinkering around.
Has he created a UAV?
Predator missile. The Shredder gets blown to shit. No, he basically throws it up, and it just attacks Shredder, and it's sort of like this crazy, weird, over-the-top moment. The Shredder's like, get this thing off of me, and it's got like little tasers going off, and it's got these weird sort of like spinny arms it's attacking him with. He's trying to get that. The turtles go into the turtle van, and you now get a reverse of the chase earlier, where it's now the Foot Clan coming after them. I don't know if you ever played Sleeping Dogs, but it's like when in Sleeping Dogs where you end up getting chased by like 50 motorcycle dudes.
Yeah.
And you've got the obvious advantage of being in a truck.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of sequence. And then it ultimately ends with them going, and you get more like, our responsibility, we've got to save the city. Maybe they like, Splinter's going, I'll deal with this.
Dude,
he goes
so
off.
Over your time.
You're over your time, Mike.
You're like really over your time.
Time is mine to control.
Ben, call some order to this.
I will edit it down. I'm just going to cut out huge swathes of his pitch. Just huge scenes.
If you could focus on the nude rat bits, I wouldn't mind losing those.
That'll be all there is. It'll be like 3 minutes of you discussing rat news, and then the end.
But I also somehow win. Well, Callum brought up rat nudes, so I gotta give it. But no, you get your typical. Splinter goes off, and he's like, he's not good enough to beat Shredder anymore. He's underestimated just how badass Shredder's got. So the Turtles go in, and with the power of family, and then finally properly uniting and taking it seriously, they finally manage to beat Shredder in some grandly public scene. Or no, actually, at the end of it, Mikey like goes out the window.
Right.
And he crashes down onto a car, and then the others manage to finish off Shredder, and then like run to the window, and outside April's news van has pulled up, and Mikey's sort of standing up, and he's got lights on him and a camera, and April comes up to him, and then I don't know, I can't think of a great closing line, but it'd be like, so basically that moment of reveal to the world, and Mikey just doing something completely corny and going, "Hey, dudes,"
or even Cowabunga.
Yeah.
He could say Cowabunga as he goes out the window.
Why would he say that if someone's thrown... If you get thrown out, if you get defenestrated, you're not going to be like, oh, this is a wild ride. What a predicament I've got myself
Because
into.
he's borderline special, Mike.
What the...
Oh my god!
You.
Oh my god!
Just fuck you. Honestly. Can you call this now, Ben?
It's called Callum, man. Okay, first of all, Callum, you advertised your pitch as being big and bright and colourful. Instantly, Raphael stabbed. You've got like 4 shades of severe daddy issues going on. You've got
Just in life, not in the pitch.
I mean, every turtle seems to have some severe kind of like issue with their father figure.
Yeah.
That's what the turtles are!
No, it's not what the turtles are.
Not in the cartoon, it wasn't. Not in the Saturday morning cartoon. This
Yeah,
is
you
some
said you wanted it
dark
to be
shit.
bright, but you nearly beat for beat just repeated the 2014 film.
We're not criticising you so much as sort of constructively helping you.
You fucking you bent over and took a dump on my childhood. Quite frankly, you are worse than George Lucas.
I did dislike all the Raphael hate. There was some strong hatred for Raphael there.
I don't hate Raphael, but
Your tone of voice says otherwise.
I was a Leo. I was a Leo child.
Really?
Of course
I
you were. You
I would have called
fucking
it a Donny.
square. I was a
was a-
Mikey, and then I grew up and became a Raphael.
I was a Raphael, I became a Leo. What are you going to do?
Well, you became a dad. You've got a reason. You have to become a
I'm
square.
the eldest son. I'm the eldest with 2 younger brothers.
Right. Well, I mean, there's 4 turtles, so you're one
Yeah,
down.
well, I didn't model my life after the turtles.
Well, maybe you should have, and you would have won this.
I wasn't like, Mummy, look, at some point in the years to come, I'm going to need to make an argument about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I need a 4th sibling.
You need to push out another one. Thank you.
I need a 4th sibling.
It's a girl, and you're just like, well, we had to drown Venus.
It wasn't working out. The ratings were just too low.
Oh, of course,
let me
at
just
the
joke
end,
in.
Shredder turns out to be Mona Lisa.
Oh, that's not even
Shut
a
up.
real
Shut your mouth.
turtle.
Just shut up!
You're wrong. Un. Can I win now, and can we end the podcast?
I'm rewriting your canon, Mike.
Let me just say briefly why I did like Mike's pitch. I mean,
thank you.
it was all over the place. Mike's pitch. It was. I think there might be a bit too much in there, but I liked the fact that stuff was thrown at the audience and it wasn't even explained. It's like there's a Triceratops in the first open, or at least referred to in the opening scene, not explained. Fucking unapologetic. There's fucking dinosaur aliens out there. Usagi Yojimbo didn't even mention it's a rabbit in the pitch. That's not even going to be commented on in the film. Just here's a fucking rabbit. If you haven't seen like every episode of the Turtles, read the comics,
I
and the
didn't even know
extended stuff.
Yojimbo was from Turtles. I've just seen
Well,
him
he's
as a
not.
separate
He's not.
thing.
But they cross over all the time, and
Yeah.
Eastman's like it's basically canon.
Also, fuck both of you for sidelining April O'Neil. I mean, that's not cool.
I wanted to tease April. I forgot.
Look, I'll be honest with you, mate. April just doesn't. She's had so many like weird character rewrites that I just didn't really know what to do with her. I didn't want to make her another ninja because we had Karai. I didn't want to just have her as a news reporter. I don't think her job should define her role. You know,
Also,
I
considering how insane yours was, I was like, I have no idea how April would show up in that.
at the very end, she's like, "Hey guys, where you been?"
So,
Oh, it's been crazy.
for channel...
You've been gone for 3 years. Yep. Yeah.
How
Yet
bad?
somehow, April, you're still doing the exact same thing. I think that says more about you than about us.
I am not having this at all. Not having any of this April missing.
Well, I'm
I
sorry.
forgot to tease, Case. I was going to have a hockey puck show up at some point. Just a single puck in the middle of an alley that Raph would stare at and go,
I'm glad you didn't.
brother.
I'm glad that he was saved from your pitch. I'm glad
Callum,
that he wasn't tainted.
I'm gonna say, mate, right? Normally, you're pretty bang on with your pitches. Like they're normally quite accurate and quite good. This is possibly the worst pitch you've ever done.
I will be honest, when I found out we were doing Turtles, and knowing that you're pitching against me, I was like, it's not even worth me
Right,
trying.
it's fucking abouty time.
Yeah, like, there is no way I come up... Because there's no way I can out-knowledge you, so the only possible route was going to be I somehow come up with something that is so purely turtles that even despite the fact it will clearly be less turtlesy than Mike, it might win. And I was like, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
I told you exactly how to win this. I said, if you make this into a porno, you win. Erotic Adventures of the Turtles.
Oh, I didn't mention that in my film, all the turtles have their dicks out.
Constantly.
Just giant flapping turtle dicks. Yeah.
There's a 40-minute full-on sex scene between Leo and Karai at the end, like during the credits.
And Leo,
full penetration.
and Leo makes that noise that tortoises make when they fuck. Like,
his little mouth going.
And until that scene is over, the doors of the cinema are locked.
Smells are pumped into the cinema for all the IMAX users.
It's in full
Right.
3D.
Anyway, was there anything else you wanted to say, Ben, before you crown me the winner?
I don't think so. I think it's fairly cut and dry this week.
Right, excellent, cool.
What are we doing next week?
I'm about to roll the magic dice and let you know.
Could it be something that one person doesn't have an insane obsession with?
It seems unlikely.
Right, I'm rolling the dice. 15. Give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, that's okay. A Black Widow solo film.
Oh.
I'm happy to sit out on this one, not because I don't think I know enough about Black Widow, and I'm not prepared to spend a week researching.
What did we do last time? What was
Last time we
Fallout.
did Fallout, and it was me and...
Yeah, because, I mean, I wouldn't mind
Callum.
not just repeating...
Alright, fuck it. Oh, no, alright, okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it against Ben then.
Just imagine it as, like, Jason Bourne, but with Iron Man or something showing up.
But a lady. Okay, cool. No worries. I'll work something out. Cool. Do you want to end it, Ben?
Certainly, thank you very much. Okay, well, thanks for listening to Pitch Please. I've been Ben, and this has been Mike.
Hello.
And that's been Callum.
I'm going to say bye, because it's weird to say hello on the outro.
You are no longer invited to these things. You're out.
Finally!
Freedom!
Okay, good night, everyone. Tune in next time for some more Pitch Please.
Just like the sands through the hourglass, so too are the episodes of Pitch Please. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode, but if you have any ideas for future pitches you'd like to see, or if you feel as though you could have done a better job at pitching than we did this week, drop us an email at content@geek-pride.co.uk. Make sure to include the words Pitch Please in the subject heading, so that Matt Geary doesn't just delete it offhand, as he does with any email that doesn't directly reference him and his greatness. Okay, until next time, keep it pitch.